The skies over Moscow have turned into a new front line, a development that few could have predicted just months ago. The Russian capital, long considered insulated from the direct effects of the war in Ukraine, was rocked by a significant drone strike this morning. This is not an isolated incident, but part of a rapidly escalating aerial campaign that is redefining the very nature of this conflict. For the viewers of Skies of Conflict, I am your host, and we are tracking every development. This is a breaking news situation, and the details are still emerging, but we have confirmed through multiple sources, including visual evidence and official statements, that a coordinated wave of Ukrainian drones penetrated deep into Russian airspace and struck targets in and around Moscow. The attack reportedly involved several drones, with Russian authorities claiming to have shot down a number of them. However, multiple reports and videos from the ground confirm that at least some of these unmanned aerial vehicles reached their intended targets, causing fires and significant damage. The psychological impact of this attack is immeasurable. For years, the Kremlin has projected an image of invulnerability, a fortress secure from the chaos of the war. It sponsors today that illusion has been utterly shattered. Smoke was seen rising from several locations, with panic spreading among the city's residents. This is a pivotal moment in modern warfare, a demonstration that geographic distance is no longer a guaranteed shield in an era of advanced drone technology. The specific models of drone used in this attack are still being identified by our analysts. Early speculation points towards a modified long-range UAV, possibly based on the Turkish Bayraktar TB2, or an indigenous Ukrainian design. Like the UJ-22, these drones would have needed to travel hundreds of kilometers through some of the most densely layered air defenses in the world. Their success in doing so points to either a catastrophic failure in Russian air defense readiness or a new level of sophistication in Ukrainian penetration tactics, perhaps a combination of both. We are looking at a complex operation that likely involved electronic warfare support to blind Russian radar and route planning that exploited known gaps in their coverage. The Russian Ministry of Defense has issued a brief statement calling it a terrorist attack and vowing a severe response, but they have been characteristically vague about the extent of the damage. Ukrainian officials have not officially claimed responsibility, adhering to their usual policy of strategic ambiguity, but there is a palpable sense of achievement in unofficial circles. This strike appears to be a direct response to the relentless Russian missile and drone barrages that have been targeting Ukrainian cities and civilian infrastructure for months. It is a message written in fire and shrapnel. Your war will no longer be confined to our land. You are not safe anywhere. Let us analyze the strategic implications of this event. First, it demonstrates Ukraine's growing capability to project power deep behind enemy lines. This is not a tactical strike on a front-line fuel depot. This is a strategic strike on the heart of Russian political power. It signals that Ukraine can now hold at risk critical command and control centers, military-industrial complexes, and symbolic targets within Russia itself. This fundamentally alters the Kremlin's calculus and forces them to divert significant air defense assets away from the front lines to protect their own interior. A massive drain on resources and morale. Second, this attack exposes critical vulnerabilities in Moscow's much-vaunted air defense network, which includes systems like the S-400 and the Pantsir S-1. The fact that slow-moving, relatively low-tech drones can bypass these systems will be studied in military academies for years to come. Was it a failure of technology or of the personnel operating it? Did Ukrainian intelligence provide a perfect flight path, or did they use decoys to saturate the defenses? The answers to these questions will shape the future of air warfare globally. The world is watching. Other nations are taking notes on the effectiveness of asymmetric drone warfare against a major military power. Now let's talk about the immediate aftermath. Social media is flooded with videos from Muscovites showing the moments of the attack. You can hear the distinct sound of small engines buzzing, followed by explosions and the wail of sirens. One video shows a residential building with its windows blown out. Another shows a fire raging at what appears to be an industrial facility. The Russian emergency services are on the scene, but the visual narrative is one of chaos and surprise. This is a powerful tool in modern conflict, the instantaneous dissemination of images that undermine state-controlled narratives. The Kremlin can no longer easily hide the reality of the war from its own people. When the evidence is visible in their own skies and streets, the geopolitical fallout from this event will be severe. Russia will feel compelled to escalate its rhetoric and possibly its actions. We can expect a fierce barrage of propaganda and likely a retaliatory missile strike on a high-value Ukrainian target, perhaps even a government building in Kyiv. The cycle of escalation is accelerating. The risks of a wider conflict, while still low, are undoubtedly higher today than they were yesterday for NATO and the West. This presents a delicate balancing act. They must continue to support Ukraine's right to defend itself while cautiously managing the possibility of a desperate and unpredictable response from the Kremlin. The provision of long-range weapons to Ukraine, once a subject of intense debate, now seems to have been a decisive factor in enabling such operations. This is skies of conflict, and we will continue to provide updates as this situation develops. The war has entered a new and more dangerous phase, one where the skies are no longer a barrier, but a highway for destruction. Our breaking news coverage of the unprecedented drone strike on Moscow. The initial shockwave has subsided, and now the complex process of damage assessment and strategic analysis begins. New information coming in from our network of sources on the ground and from open-source intelligence analysts piecing together the full picture of this audacious attack. We can now confirm that the primary target was not a random residential area, but a key warehouse and logistics hub on the outskirts of the city, used for storing electronic components believed to be critical for the Russian military-industrial complex. This indicates a high level of intelligence gathering and target selection by Ukrainian forces. This was a precision strike designed to cripple Russia's ability to produce and repair weapons systems like drones, missiles, and communication equipment. The strike was surgical and demonstrates a move beyond symbolic retaliation to tangible strategic degradation. The type of drone used is now being more confidently identified by our military analysts as a domestically produced Ukrainian model, likely the UJ-22 Skyline. This drone has a reported range of over 800 kilometers and can carry a significant payload. Its low radar signature and ability to fly at low altitudes make it a challenging target for traditional air defense systems, which are often optimized for high-flying aircraft and ballistic missiles. The success of the UJ-22 in this mission is a testament to Ukraine's burgeoning drone industry, which has become a vital asymmetric asset in countering Russia's quantitative superiority. The Russian response on the ground has been one of confusion and attempted containment. State news agencies are downplaying the event, focusing on the drones that were intercepted, but independent journalists and citizens are telling a different story. There are reports of increased security around all government buildings in Moscow, with air defense systems visibly being repositioned throughout the city. This reactive posture is exactly what Ukrainian planners would have hoped for, forcing Russia to expend resources and mental energy on homeland defense. The psychological operation is as important as the physical damage inflicted. The international reaction is beginning to take shape. Western leaders are maintaining a cautious public line, refraining from direct comment on the strike itself, while reiterating their support for Ukraine's sovereignty and right to self-defense. Privately, however, there is likely a sense of grim satisfaction that Russian aggression is being met with a capable response that makes the cost of the war tangible to the Russian populace. This event will undoubtedly influence the ongoing debate about supplying Ukraine with even longer-range weapons such as the ATACMS missile system. If drones can reach Moscow, then longer-range missiles can threaten an even broader array of targets deep inside Russia, further complicating Putin's strategic position for the people of Ukraine. This strike is a massive morale boost after enduring months of brutal attacks on their energy grid and civilian centers. It is a clear signal that their military can take the fight to the enemy. It fosters a sense of strategic parity and defiance. The message is, we are not just surviving, we are fighting back, and we can hit you where you live. This is a crucial element in maintaining national unity and the will to continue the struggle. Looking ahead, we must consider what comes next. The immediate future will almost certainly see a dramatic escalation in Russian air attacks on Ukraine. President Putin cannot be seen as weak in the face of such a direct challenge. We are likely preparing for one of the largest missile and drone assaults of the war in coming days, targeting Ukrainian command centers, energy infrastructure, and possibly symbolic government buildings in Kyiv. The world must be prepared for horrific images coming out of Ukraine as Russia seeks to save face and reassert its dominance through brute force. Simultaneously, we anticipate that Ukraine will continue and even expand its campaign of long-range drone strikes. This is now a confirmed and effective part of their war strategy. They will target oil refineries, ammunition depots, and military bases within Russia, aiming to systematically degrade the Russian war machine from the inside. The skies of conflict have expanded. They now stretch from the front lines in Donbas all the way to the heart of the Russian Federation. This is no longer a regional conflict. It is a war of attrition fought with missiles and drones across a continent. The rules have changed. The old paradigms of front lines and safe zones are obsolete. The drone has democratized long-range strike capability, allowing a determined nation like Ukraine to challenge a nuclear superpower on its own turf. This is a historic shift in military affairs, and we are witnessing it unfold in real time for skies of conflict. This is the core of our coverage: the evolving technology, tactics, and strategies of modern aerial warfare. The attack on Moscow is not an endpoint, it is the beginning of a new and more volatile chapter, one that carries with it the risk of uncontrolled escalation, but also the potential for a Ukrainian victory born from innovation and courage. We will stay on this story and bring you every update as it happens. This is a changing world, and the skies above us are the new battlefield.